Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Today is an historic one in the Iowa legislature. In April of 2015, 4 Black Iowa legislators, with the support of the House Minority Leader, formed the Iowa Legislative Black Caucus, which we might say was long overdue. Our primary goal was to eliminate discrimination in the state by proposing legislation that would secure equality for all Iowans. After 9 years and the inclusion of more members, we have 12 members now. Our vision has expanded, and we want to specifically embrace brown Iowans. They have the experience of being seriously discriminated against, and they are the largest minority in the state. Following much discussion, debate, and long deliberation, we unanimously decided to join together and have a larger, more diverse team to address equality and inequality in Iowa, which differs with every single individual. So I'm happy and proud to say, before my colleagues speak, that we are so very proud to launch the first Black and Brown Iowa Legislative Caucus.
Today, we stand as Black and Brown Caucus, committed to turning community pain into community power. Our neighborhoods face urgent issues: preschool, child care needs, barriers to health care, jobs, voting rights, and fair treatment under the law. And those realities must be heard, not hidden. Together, we amplify underrepresented voices, drive equity, and unlock organizational gains for everyone. Establishing innovation and stronger community ties also provides inclusive decision-making and reduces biases. This caucus is committed to advancing legislation that protects civil rights, expands access to quality education and health care, and builds real economic opportunity and ensures fair treatment in the justice system, equity in hiring, reproductive justice, sanctioned violence, barriers to voting. We work to turn those concerns into concrete policies and change. This caucus exists to make sure that when decisions are made, our community is heard, and not just as an afterthought, but as a priority. We are here to say clearly, our community deserves safety, dignity, justice, and a real voice at every table where power is exercised. We will keep organizing, legislating, and speaking out for Black and brown families as they work and live and thrive here in Iowa.
Good morning, and thank you all so much for being here. We are gathered here today because governing is not abstract. At the push of a button in this very building, lives change. Families feel it, children feel it, communities feel it. And for far too long, Black and brown Iowans have felt the consequences of decisions made without them in thought. Let me be clear. To start this caucus is not symbolic. This is not performative unity. This is about direct power, policy, and the responsibility that each of us hold with the offices of being state reps and state senators in this building. The Iowa Legislative Black and Brown Caucus stands on the shoulders of giants, We honor those members of Representative Wayne Ford, Representative Ruth Gaines, Representative Ako Abdul-Samad, just to name a few. But we stand on the shoulders of those who also broke barriers, those like Representative Willie Stevenson Clanton. And so none of this could be happening without their fight, without their push, without them. There would be no black senator, there would be no black representative without the work of those who have come before us. They didn't fight to be seen. They fought because change requires sacrifice, and they have put it in. Freedom is not free. Why this caucus? Why now? Let me be clear, our chair, Ruth Gaines, is committed to making sure that voices across this state are being heard and that no one is left behind. And truly, you all, the stakes are too high for any one of us to be silent. We stand here today because we are unified and we are clear. The policies that Representative Mary Madison laid out, especially trying to ensure that economic expansion and that diversity and equity is protected in this state, not rolling it back. Each of us bring in this space lived experience, and we bring to this chamber what matters most. Our experience shapes and sharpens our judgment. It deepens our accountability, and it reminds us who we answer to, which is all of you in this room, and those who will see this, and even those who will not. This caucus exists to ensure that when decisions are made in Iowa, Iowa feels that all communities are at that table, and that none are an afterthought. So today, under the direction of our chair, the co-chairs, and this immaculate body of colleagues, we are so grateful for you to be here. But we invite you, the people of Iowa, to get involved with us. Stay engaged, stay vigilant, hold us accountable. We thank you for what you're going to do with us, alongside of us. Do not let the gallery be empty when moments for you to be up here is needed. Mary Compost, at 98 years old, helping launch a lot of what has happened in our brown communities. Representative Ruth Gaines, Representative Ako Abdul-Samad, and Representative Wayne Ford, we say thank you.
I want to thank you all for being here. This is such an exciting day to move forward with such a monumental caucus in the state of Iowa. Something that shouldn't be monumental, but that the people before us fought for, like Mary Campos here, Representative Gaines, Representative Abdul-Samad, Representative Wayne Ford, and so many before that. And it's our honor to follow in their footsteps to make sure that every single Black and brown Iowan's voice is heard at the table. I am honored to be part of the fastest growing group in this state when it comes to ethnicity. And that means Iowa looks more like us than what this chamber does upstairs. And because of that, it's important that we join together, that we move our voices together, so that way every single Iowan knows their face is up here, knows that their voice is up here, knows that their thoughts are being fought for every single day. And that's what we are here to do. But it's not just about the 12 of us and the people who came before us, it's about all of us. Because it's the voices that are both in this room and outside of this room that live this reality every day, that bring forth their stories so we can join hands and make sure that every Iowan's reality is the best that it can be. So I thank you all for being here. I thank the people who come before us, and I look forward to holding hands with each of you as we move forward. Today we celebrate a wonderful launch. but it's just the continuation of hard work and a long story that's been a part of Iowa's fabric from the very beginning. And let's move forward together remembering that as we make sure our voices continue to remain at the table. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Representative Ramirez, the proud first Latina to ever serve in the Iowa State Legislature. I am very proud to stand here as a member of the Black and Brown Legislative Caucus. Iowans across every political party, every faith, every corner of our state are watching ICE operations in Minnesota with deep concern and heartbreak. Here in Iowa, we've seen our own neighbors unlawfully targeted, violently torn from their jobs and their families, and disappeared without a trace. This violates Iowans' moral code, treating all Iowans with kindness, dignity, and respect. Today, I want to talk about the American dream, to achieve safety, dignity, joy, opportunity, and freedom. We all want these things for ourselves and our loved ones, for our kids. The American dream belongs to everyone. It is your story, it is my story, it is our story, and it is what we are fighting here today. The Black and Brown Legislative Caucus, myself and our allies, Representative Crokin and Representative Wickendahl, would like to present a series of bills we are referring to as the Protect the American Dream Act, 3 essential protections for all Iowans. First, no federal ICE agent can hide their identity in our state. Local law enforcement doesn't hide from their community. ICE shouldn't either. ICE is a paramilitary organization operating with impunity, not accountable law enforcement. Second, all Iowans receive due process and constitutional protections. This isn't radical, it is constitutional. Third, we ban ICE apprehension and detention in courthouses, schools, and churches. These are essential to protect every Iowan. With these protections, we will ensure that all Iowans are treated with dignity and respect. We urge our colleagues, regardless of their political party, to stand firm with us as we protect the American dream. Thank you.
We'll open up for questions.
Representative Gaines talked about discrimination and targeting systematic discrimination in the state of Iowa. Iowa's population is 4% Black, but the Iowa correctional population, if you consider probation, parole, and incarceration, is 30% Black. So I want to know if you guys have any legislative initiatives towards targeting and decreasing the prison population.
In the past, we have had much legislation trying to eliminate the abundance of Black people incarcerated, and we have had many, many bills. Now, we haven't gotten together this year to see what bills or what legislation has actually been proposed, but every year we have it. The problem is that sometimes these bills don't even come up on the floor because the chair of the committee doesn't feel that it's important. But we have worked really, really hard, I'd say, in the last 10 years to alleviate some of the discrimination that Iowa people who are incarcerated have.
Thank you.
I'm Ross Wilburn. I'm Assistant Democratic Leader. I want to thank Leader Meyer for being here today and my other colleagues. I want to follow up on that. I'm the ranking Democrat on the Judiciary Committee, and the question speaks to what we can look forward to. And our chair, Representative Gaines, spoke about things that we'd like to see. Unfortunately, in particular with judiciary issues, ever since I've been here, I'm in my 4th term, what started out as a simple misdemeanor, the next year becomes an aggravated misdemeanor. The next year becomes a Class D felony, and on and on and on. Without any data, obviously there are certain circumstances that have happened that require attention because we want justice, We want accountability, we want opportunity for those who've made a mistake, and the majority of the folks that are incarcerated, regardless of color and background, are nonviolent offenders, committed a nonviolent offense. And they're gonna be coming back to our communities. And when you elevate penalties like that, it extends the amount of time that they are in prison. And we want people, when they come back, well, we have to ask you and Iowans, when people come back after they've done their time, do we want them to have education? Do we want them to have jobs, a place to live? Or do we want them to be further and further removed from community and come back and be even hardened? So those are the things that it's not new. In fact, Representative Wayne Ford helped start the minority impact statement, which is wonderful, but it was limited to just criminal issues in the Judiciary Committee. And you brought up education. We can't ask for a minority impact statement on bills that harm all individuals, but in particular people, diverse communities in education and health. So those are areas where, I mean, I'd love to see us just a minority impact statement when we see that there's a disparate outcome. So having said all that, you know, this is a great opportunity for you, the community, to not wonder which legislators you can talk to. You do have a voice, you do have a presence here, and we welcome that. We have, but we are going to try and continue working with brown and black communities to make sure that we are out there, that your voice is heard here, and just visibly showing up has an impact. At risk of going to the caucus, about the Iowa caucus, I, as former chair, made a presentation in Washington, D.C. to the DNC about the diversity that we have historically had here in Iowa, and all the firsts across the board. But it was numbers, and it can be easily be ignored. There's impact when there's visibility, and so we need to reach out to black and brown people to be here at the Capitol, because this is where it happens. You can have an impact. I'm going to stop right there, but I just wanted to follow up on that. Thank you.
Good to see you. Watch these old football players. I'm not 70.
You're at home.
I'm not 74. Where Caleb? I'm not 74. All right. Here's what you don't know. Many years ago, when I was here, when I was only black up here, I came here in 1996. I left in 2010. I passed the baton on to this lady here. But we passed something in 2008 called the Racial Impact Statement. And I remember when I was young like you, that's the same question I would ask, but something's going on because some of my colleagues know that you don't know. So the Racial Impact Statement that we passed in 2008, 3/4 of the states in America are following our lead. So that impact today is known around the country. My hometown of Washington, D.C. developed a whole division at the department, at the city government level, based on that legislation. So what I'm trying to say is that started in the 5th whitest state. So when people give me that black-white stuff, I was by myself. A Kale of them came after me, and we came here, but we got it done. So let's use what we got already, because right now we're recognized around America as the state for the best example. And because of that, your recidivism rate has gone down in the state of Iowa for blacks and whites. And some of that is because, and these legislators here know, somebody's gonna say, well, what about the racial impact statement? Although it can't go nowhere because we ain't got the majority. But the bottom line is we still talk about it. Right?
Anyway, how many are?
Oh, who am I? I forget. Everybody here not baby boomers? Oh, I'm changing. Okay, my name is Wayne Ford. I'm the 10th black legislator in the history of Iowa to serve. I served from 1996 to 2010, and I took no prisoners. Somebody else's phone. Let me get out of here.
You are taking a prisoner.
I do want to point out the fact that in this room today, you have many firsts. You have the first Latina here at the Capitol. You have the first black woman senator. You have the second black man senator. You have the first black woman consecrated as a bishop in Iowa. You have Mary Campos here, one of the first Latinas who helped stand up for the rights. You have Miss Ruth Gaines, who have an entire auditorium named after her because of her immaculate teaching record. You have pastors and union workers in this room. You have politicians and candidates and media in this room. Every single one of us come to this room with the idea that we want to make Iowa better. But the reality is each one of us standing up here need your help to get it done. We cannot do this unless you all help us get this thing done. We have an opportunity here to truly do something this year in 2026. And I believe under this leadership and under where we are and the priorities that have been laid out, we have a chance to do something. If we work together, if we stick together, if we make this thing happen together, all of us in this room will benefit from what is coming from this caucus.
Representative Rob, and thank you all for being here. I'd like to just add to the discussion and to say that we need all of your presence in all coming to the subcommittee meetings. That's where your voices are heard. It's the subcommittee meetings, because once it gets to full committee, you won't be able to speak. I want us to not always just focus on the criminalization of what's going on. We need to focus on what's going on with our schools. That's where it all starts. The lack of funding for our public schools. We need to focus on issues that affect the services that are going to be impacted, the services around mental health and access to the kinds of things that we all need. So there is a lot going on in this legislative session this year, and I keep up with the bills, keep up with it. You have trackers, you can find everything that's going on, what time, what place, that legislatures are discussing and debating various things that affect every single one of us in this room. And I mean to tell you, we need to really fight for education, public education. Okay, it is not enough money to help fund these schools. When schools have to close or they have to cut valuable services, that affects our kids. That affects our youth. So let your voice be heard. Even if some of us, we are in the minority, voices matter. Voices matter. Letters matter. And the more, the better. So I'll encourage you to do just what Representative Rob said. Get engaged, show up where it matters, speak your voice directly to the legislators, and we can all make this happen. We can move the needle as best we can. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
2 more questions after Representative Kao speaks.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, let me give honor to God, for without God we would not be here. That's my discipline. I wish not to fit in. Secondly, I would like to say to you that are here today, you are part of history. And not only history for today, but a history that has been taken, that I've been able to be a part of and witness these last 18 years. As now, when the longest sitting African American in the House. I just want to say to everyone here that not only history here, but history has to be made in Des Moines itself. Des Moines has been known to be the one to take the lead in desegregating the school, making sure individuals of color could not be used as property. And now today, this leadership has taken this caucus to the next level. And that is the Black-Brown Caucus. And let me tell you, it was a fight to get here. It was a fight to get it and to be denied even to have a caucus for many years. But when Representative Gaines came and I was able to get an ally with her, we went to the leadership and the leadership said yes. And that leadership has been progressive ever since. And the progressive leadership that we have now, Brian Myers, the history that we have with, Representative Knox getting ready to leave, unfortunately. Senator Knox. Well, who is the second African American that's been in the Senate.
Give a shout out to Thomas Mann. Give a shout out to Thomas Mann.
Yes, Thomas Mann, who was the first, who led the way, who paved the way to, as they mentioned before, Senator Renee Hardman.
Amen.
You know, we got to understand that when people, you know, when you travel, and I travel, a lot of times you go somewhere and you say, where you from? They say Iowa. And they said, oh, they got black people in Iowa?
Amen.
And I tell them, yeah, we got 3 and I gotta get back. but the key with that is that we can be proud and say, oh, we got black folk in Iowa, and we have brown folk in Iowa, and we're progressive in Iowa. And we're here to make change. We're not here to play the game, we're here to change the game. And what you're witnessing today is a game changing right now. And so be proud of these individuals that are serving. Be proud of those who are serving throughout this state, because there has been first all the way around the board. Know that you are part of history in Iowa. So let's make Iowa what it's supposed to be, and let's tell our story so people quit telling the story for us. God bless everyone.
We're gonna take one question. We're gonna take one question here, and I know we got one over here, so I gotta take one over here. So we don't take 2 over here. Yes, Lord God.
Did you invite the black and brown Republican legislators to join your caucus, and if so, what did they tell you?
Did you say black and brown Republicans?
Yes.
Okay, I only know of one legislator who is African American and Republican, and yes, he was invited. I talked to him extensively on Thursday, and he said he would be here. We, from the beginning, have tried to include as many people of color as possible. We either get no response or the response of no.
Did anyone reach out to Representative Cisneros?
Yes, not this year, but 2 years ago, when I first became chair. Yes, we did, and we didn't get a response.
Question over here. Is it for the chair?
Whoever wants to take it.
Okay.
So, we have seen massive brain drain of the younger generations out of Iowa. Our younger generations are more diverse, and this has been, and this anti-DEI policy has been part of what's been motivating this. What do you think can be done to reverse this trend?
Well, first of all, I think we need to recognize that we are a diverse country. We are diverse people. Everything we do has diversity in it. And what we did was to ban the words diversity, equity, and inclusion. We all want to have an equal right for employment, all the things we talked about. And so we have to stand on the fact that we are a diverse community and change the laws that have come out of this chamber that segregate and remove the important values that we all hold. We may keep them privately, but we don't speak out. When diversity, equity, and inclusion was eliminated here, it should have been a major outcry, because the United States is what? Diverse, equity, and inclusion. And we are celebrating our 250th anniversary. And through those 250 years, diverse people have fought, built, and worked. And every piece of legislation that comes out for brown and black communities impacts our whole state. Everybody's able to vote better if we pass the John Lewis Voting Act. So we have to think in terms of inclusiveness. And so once we do, no one can eliminate it. You can't be eliminated. I can't be eliminated. But once we just let it smooth over and walk away, well, they think they've accomplished something, but it should always come back. We are diverse people, and words cannot eliminate that.
And Amy will be our final speaker. After her, we will then shut it down.
So I'm one of the youngest legislators in both the House and the Senate. Here's the fact of the matter. The bigoted legislation that has come out of this Republican-led state government has caused young people to leave the state. This is the fact of the matter. Anti-diversity, anti-inclusion, anti-equity results in people feeling unsafe in Iowa. I cannot tell you how many of my fellow students, when I went to Coe College in Cedar Rapids, left Iowa after thinking that they could make a home here. But they left because of what was happening here in the Capitol. The reality is, people do not feel safe here. Young people do not feel like there is opportunity here. And young people are also, we are the age of technology. We see diverse thought, diverse peoples, diverse perspectives every day on social media. So it's natural for us to care about our neighbor that we've never met before, who has a different identity than ourselves. Unfortunately, what we see in this Republican-led legislature is not that. They do not care about neighbors that look differently than themselves. And we are seeing that contribute to brain drain here in Iowa. If we cared about building up our communities, if we cared about building up our economy with hardworking residents that build a home here, build a family here, we would not be passing bigoted, racist, and classist legislation. I also just want to emphasize that to keep diversity, we need to be voting. And we also, as electeds, need to make voting accessible. We need to make it personal, because it is. It impacts every single one of us. We are going to have refreshments outside. We're welcome to take any questions outside. If you want to come up to any of us who serve on the Black and Brown Legislative Caucus media, we would be happy to take questions. I pass it off to Representative Johnson or Representative Ruth Gaines to close today. Thank you.
I don't know if you can tell by the sound of our voices how happy and excited we are to do this presentation today. It marks a beginning of change in Iowa. We've turned a corner in the state, a big corner. And just as I have seen so much change in the attitude about diversity among some Republicans and most Democrats, just think of what it will be like 10 years later, 20 years later. And our young people will say to us, you never had a black senator before 2026? You needed a black and brown caucus in order to stem desegregation. We're making change. We are at the bottom of the long, long tower that is to come. And we, the people standing here behind me, are so excited to one day be able to say to the younger generation, yes, and I was a part of it. Thank you so much.
Get us outside for refreshments. Can we open those doors?